News Geelong, brought to you by Music Workshop. Good evening and welcome to News Geelong. Yes, we're down overlooking Fisherman's Beach at Torquay. A wonderful sunny summer's day. Hope you're going to be enjoying our great program tonight, because coming up, we're going to travel out to Avalon. Yes, it is coming up in February, March of next year. It's the Avalon International Air Show. Heroes of the Sky will be the theme of this great 2015 event as we continue to showcase Avalon Airport from our great city of Geelong.
Hello, my name is Terry Barrow and I'm at Avalon Airport for the launch of the Australian International Air Show 2015.
The air show that's going to be held here at Avalon next February had its origins originally in a very small light aircraft general aviation air show, which was held in September 1976 at a little aerodrome northwest of Sydney called Schofields Aerodrome. And it was organised by a bunch of amateur aviation enthusiasts, and I was one of them, and we still have in our organisation today a number of them. So once it's in your blood, you know, this enthusiasm for aviation and air shows doesn't go away. And over a period of time, our organisation became more and more professional and more successful, and ultimately we were invited to organise the Australian Bicentennial Air Show at Richmond in 1988 in conjunction with our Air Force. That was very successful, and that then led to discussions with the Kerner government back in the early 1990s with a view to bringing the air show to Victoria. And as a result of the support which we received at that stage, and which we received continuously on a bipartisan basis from all subsequent Victorian governments, we've been able to conduct this series of events at Avalon, which has taken Geelong's air show into becoming one of the world's great air shows. And now we have an event which is a major aviation public entertainment spectacular combined with an international trade fair for the world's aerospace, aviation and defence industries.
So what's going to be so special about the 2015 air show?
Well, as you know, in 2015 we're commemorating a centenary of the tradition of Anzac, and the air show here at Avalon in February next year will very appropriately commemorate and highlight the spirit of Anzac through the Heroes of the Sky. There's been a lot of Australian heroism over the last 100 years in our century of military tradition, on the ground, obviously at Gallipoli, on the sea, in the Straits of Dardanelles. But what many people forget is that aviation also played a small but increasingly significant embryonic role in the Gallipoli campaign. And that, in a sense, hinted at the future because air power, as we call it, is now a major and fundamental aspect of military and defence operations. And what we're doing here at Avalon in 2015 is commemorating the spirit of Anzac through the Heroes of the Sky over the last 100 years.
So what can your visitors expect to see when they come along?
Oh, well, they'll expect to see a broad spectrum of the history of military aviation, starting with some wonderful old aircraft. Some of them are on display here today. About 20 World War I replica aircraft we've imported from various parts of the world to take part in ground displays and in air displays, simulated World War I aerial battles, dogfights, you know, the Red Baron type fights, the barnstorming era will all be on display, and then that will be taken through the various eras of military aviation, from the rest of the First World War, the Second World War, the Korean conflict, Vietnam, Iraq, and of course the future as well.
We're with Flight Lieutenant Sean. He's just come down from flying the F-18 behind him. That's a fantastic plane. That must be exhilarating to fly.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Fly it probably 3 or 4 times a week on average, and yeah, I really enjoy it. So.
And have you been to the air show before?
I came down 2 years ago to the air show. I wasn't in a flying capacity that time, but yeah, it was good.
And is the plane just used for shows, or is it used in the real situation?
Yeah, the F-18 Classic, or the A model that we fly here, it can be used in a conflict situation, I guess, and that's what we train to more often than not, rather than the airshow role.
What does the air show mean for Avalon Airport?
Look, it's a great event. It's been happening since 1992. We've got it for another 5 years after this until 2025, and it's fantastic. It's exciting. It's a happy time. Last night we had 450 people here. Today we've got the F-18 flying around, so it's just great for the whole region, and particularly Geelong.
Fantastic. And what about, you mentioned about Geelong. How does it benefit Geelong, Eric?
This is about tourism, this is about major events. This is a huge event in the major events calendar of Victoria. As a Shadow Minister for Volunteering and, of course, major events, I'm very pleased to be here today, yet again, and I think the contracts which are now going to 2025, we were instrumental in this starting back in 2002 when we were in government, of course. Steve Bracks was a big supporter of not only Avalon, but also of the air show. And so I'm very pleased to be here. This is a big major event for Victoria, which will attract a lot of people, not only to Geelong, but indeed the wider regions as well. So we look forward to next year, and I certainly look forward to today's events, and we'll be going around and getting a special viewing of what will come next year in 2015, and so I'm really looking forward to it. And if I become the Minister, of course, I'd be very much supporting this event and Avalon.
Fantastic. And it must be a tough job to coordinate the Jetstar flights whilst the show's on. How do you manage that, Justin?
Look, it's not too bad, really. Basically, the show stops, so Jetstar gets a priority, and it's worked very well in the past, especially when we had a lot more flights, so this time it won't be too hard to manage at all. So Jetstar have been really, really good. We make sure that all the passengers can get to the terminal on time and without delays, and really it's probably a good time to fly because you can actually get a free access to an air show, so there's no issues there.
Right, so what vehicle am I in today?
You bought a Jeep.
There's a 44 Ford GPW. It's a Jeep built during the war. About 640,000 were built, and there's still quite a few of them around.
Yeah. And is this your own Jeep? Do you just show us?
Totally stolen.
Well, this is borrowed from one of our friends, but there's a few of us that have Jeeps, yes.
And will this be on display in the show? And if so, how will that be displayed, and what can visitors expect?
Yeah, it'll pretty much be displayed as you see it now. It'll represent a Jeep from the flight line, so it'll have a lot of flight-related gear on it, so parachutes, things like these, the vests, the inflatable vests. It'll be one of maybe 2 or 3 Jeeps that we'll have there, and come down to the air show and you'll be able to see it.
I'm Terry Barrow at Avalon Airport for News Geelong.
We'll go to a break on News Geelong and be back with more after this. News Geelong brought to you by Music Workshop.